Hey guys, welcome to another video, welcome to my YouTube channel and welcome to another video from myself, Fraser. We're carrying on with the CRJ700 with the American Eagle livery, whatever that airline is, PSA. I think it's one of those like subsidiary airlines that operate these aircraft on behalf of Eagle, American, and Delta and a number of other big carrier. Speaking of Delta, there's a CRJ900 that's just landed. Yeah, we're going to do, I was just having a look, this aircraft, not the specific aircraft, but they do, on this CRJ, they do a flight from Asheville to Charlotte Douglas. It looks like a very short flight. I mean, you're barely doing any airways, you're just like basically into a start straight away. That's how short it is. So we're going to be doing this little hop to Charlotte, and then from there we'll find out where we go after that. But yeah, this is going to be a very short little hop. Hopefully I'm getting a bit more comfortable behind this aircraft. It's been a little while, and if you've been flying, I mean, I've been flying the BAEs and the Fokkers a lot, but I feel like they're I think because they're just pure old school, you feel more comfortable. But when you are flying a mixture of old school and new school with the FMS and whatnot, it's almost like these aircraft here. Some of it's automatic, but then there's another big part which is still manual. And like I've mentioned, it's just us in the cockpit today. We don't have the fallback to a first officer to do whatever they do to share the workload. So yeah, not making too many excuses, but hopefully this flight goes a bit smoother. But we'll spend a bit more time because it's such a short flight. We'll get our arrival all sort of figured out. So we'll jump into the aircraft and we'll go into FS HUD and just start our flight plan. Just make sure FS HUD does give us the correct runway to take off from. Make sure I don't have to change it for the for my flex takeoff thing. So we're going to start that flight. We'll request flight clearance and just see what runway they're going to be giving us. Right, so we'll be carrying on with runway 17, but Simbrief has given us runway 34, so we'll just change that quickly. Right, we'll just make sure which runway they're giving us. 18C, I'm just going to go to flight radar, just see what, mind you, we'll just stick with that. Just trying to look for that airport we're going to. Yeah, so all the planes, they are using the northerly runway for this in real life, but we'll just stick with what FS HUD has given us. So it's going to be, we're going to be using 18 center for this, for our landing. So yeah, we'll go into our flight plan anyway. We'll import our flight plan. We'll go to our performance page, but we won't touch that just yet. We'll start entering in now. all of our usual details. So we're going to go into our index page, we'll go to status, we'll go to position init, we'll update the airport that we're at, we'll just bring up our flight plan. So we're taking off from KAVL. And then we will go into flight plan and we will go KAVL to KCLT. Enter, and we'll enter in our flight number. We haven't changed it from last time, so KIA. Doesn't really matter, doesn't break the simulator, so that don't have to worry about it too much. We'll enter in our alternative, so it's going to be KCAE, but I haven't entered in, I haven't done like a secondary flight plan, but I should do that just for learning sometime in the future. So we've done that. We'll go into our departure. We're going to select runway 17 and we'll select that SID and we'll execute that. Go into flight plan, we'll click on perf init page now and we'll go ahead and enter in our weights. So we'll be our zero fuel weight is basically 24800, so we'll just select that, 24800, enter, and our fuel is going to be, we don't need to change the, oh no we do actually, so we'll need to change the fuel, so it's going to be, we'll make it 2630, give us extra 20 kgs or so. Enter, so we've done that. We'll set payload and simulator. Next time we'll see if we can see if we set everything for our flight plan, we'll see what difference that makes. So we'll set that to our simulator and we'll copy that data into our FMS, which is all loaded up. And our cruising altitude is going to be a very, very low 17.0. Yep, so low it's not even a flight level, so we've done that. We'll go to the next page, plus 31 for our average wind crew, so plus 31, and plus 10 for our ISA. Execute that, and our reserve fuel is going to be 600 kgs going off from that, and then we will go into our VNAV. We don't need to change anything in that, that's all permanently set. What is descent info? Not too sure what to do with that. Right, what do we need to do now? We're going to our perf, we enter in our flex takeoff and see what flaps they have given us. We'll set these, actually we'll go to takeoff, flaps 8, bleeds on 43. Sweet, so 843. Enter 43 into there. We'll go into this page here. Oh yeah, we haven't actually done our flight plan properly, have we? So we'll have a look at our Navigraph charts. We'll actually change this around. Just seeing what. Oh yeah, so we're going to use the BTC2 Y2 arrival, so we'll change that, and we're going to be landing on runway 18 center, so we'll go ahead and change that. So we'll change our departure runway, which is going to be 17. and we're going to use that AVL 7 departure, and we're going to be changing that to runway 18 center. Don't know why FS HUD is giving us that, but it's giving us that, so we'll just go with that. Bitsy Y2 is now going to be our arrival. Oh, if we do need to, we'll enter that in. So we are going to, we're going to Ginny. That's our, we do have a waypoint, so we're going to go to Ginny. And from Jenny, we're going to hook it into the Bitsy arrival. You know what, we're just going to, because this is telling us to go right to the airport and out like so, we're just going to go straight from Bitsy straight to there. We're just going to do that. It makes no sense to go all the way down. Actually, we're just going to get rid of that. We're going to get rid of that arrival. It just makes no sense to do that. There are a few little things that FS HUD just, I feel like if we did that, it'll take us all the way to the actual waypoint and then backtrack. So we're just going to get vectors straight from there to our arrival. So I'll go ahead and enter our arrival. We're just getting this all set up because it's going to happen really quickly. 18 center, we're going to go with the GCO arrival. Enter that like so, and we'll just make sure we just get rid of these. Actually, we'll leave that there. We'll get vectored for that. I'm guessing. So I'll just clear that. Alright, we'll set our aircraft up for departure. We'll select our altitude for 17,000 feet. Scrolling. We'll turn off that too. We've done our approach. We'll turn that off. I'll turn our flight directives on and off just to reset them. 17,000 feet. We'll go into our arrival charts and we'll just see which what our altitude is at our arrival. It's where is it? Our airport elevation should be somewhere in here. We'll just go to our airport data, so it might be in there. There you go, we're at, I'll make that 740, so we're going to have to scroll all the way back down to 740, so bear with me while I do that. Halfway there. little bit more. Right, we're going to go up because it goes up in 20, so 2040, that will do us fine. And we're going to go back into our own airport and we'll set our runway heading for our departure, which is going to be (167). I do like the ability just to, like, with these lights, I do like being able to like scroll with my mouse, but I do find when you're scrolling there's lots of things that scroll, if you know what I mean, that scroll when you don't want them to scroll, when you're using the scroll button to zoom in and out. Right, we'll select 167. I need to get in the habit of setting my heading bug when I'm on my final approach. So that's set. We'll set our takeoff. We're going to use flaps 8 for our takeoff. Set all of our V bugs to that, and 7.8 is our trim. One more little notch, and that's our trim set. So we've got our trims, we've got our landing elevation set, we've got our outbound set, we've got our altitude set, we've got all of our V speeds automatically set, but I believe you have to go through here to set them all. We'll try that one day. What we will do is, because we are not, no, we'll have time, we'll set our less when we're up in the air. So we can now turn these on. We'll shut the aircraft, we'll disengage the we'll turn on our fuel pumps, we'll disengage the ground power, we'll turn on our probes, we'll turn on our beacon light, and we'll quickly shut the door so people don't freak out. Alright, we are ready to go, folks. Get rid of those wheel chocks, release the parking brake, and push back. We'll start engine number 1 quickly. We will turn on engine number 1. We'll quickly spoon this around. Which way are we going? Yep, we're going the right. We're pointing our aircraft in the right way. We'll stop, straighten it up, and then we'll stop it. Parking brake on. Get rid of the tug. Wait for the engine to finish its start up, and then we'll start up the next engine. Hold down start until it goes white. We'll turn on the hydraulic pump now. It's now hitting 10% and over, so we can now turn on this engine here. Engine number 1. And I think that is all we need to do. We'll turn on our taxi lights, which we must have scrolled them by accident. We'll turn on our the emergency exits and turn on the seatbelt signs. And we'll, we've already had our windshield devices that we're already on, so that's good. Now we'll just shut down the APU, set flaps 8, release the parking brake, get request clearance to take off, to taxi, and away we go. Now we'll just go into this little thing here. So takeoff config is all good. Our reverses are armed. Our no steering wheel is armed. We're going to turn down this taxiway here. Missed the little vehicle there. Flight Simulator 2024, and they still have vehicles driving around the taxiway. Right, before I forget, we'll come up here and we'll select manual for that. We'll click on the magic toga button up here to set our takeoff, and then we will just carry on taxiing down to our runway. That's one thing we do need to do too. We need to get the little business jets out and fly around in the business jets, and this will be the US is definitely good for, especially the CR for the business there, the J4, whatever, the Cessna 4, whatever it is. Lots of small little airports that are perfect for business jet flying, so we'll definitely need to do that at some stage. Alright, we're going really fast. We're motoring down the taxiway. We'll get ourselves ready. We'll turn on our landing lights and our strobe light. Request clearance for takeoff. Brake as hard as possible. Right, let's wait for that clearance again so we don't mess up ATC. And we'll just go to pre-select heading mode and speed. And I think that will be giving us clearance for takeoff, so everything's all looking good up there. Ready for departure. We're just going to take off anyway. Select climb. Or we should have spooled up the engines. Now go straight into toga. Put a bit of downward pressure. Sound like a real pilot. This is what you learn when you're watching lots of YouTube videos. Once we get above 80, we can just release the downward pressure of the yoke. And we can now start pulling back. I think we've hit the V1 rotate. Sounded like we scrapped the back there, but I don't think we have. Alright, this is going to be a very, very short hop, skip and jump. I think we'll just use autopilot for this little bit. If it will let me. Why is it not letting me? Oh, that's weird. Autopilot won't seem to engage. Now it is. Perfect. Flaps will come up. We'll increase our speed to 220. We'll go outside and enjoy the view as we pull up the flaps. Right, Alright, we'll get back into the cockpit and carry on with our procedures. We'll scroll it up to 220. Then it will come up into here. Then we'll leave the passengers seated in, and we'll just take this to climb mode. Alright, fly heading 165, which is what we're out, which is what we're on. Now we'll scroll this to 250 now. And we're going to go direct to Jenny. So we'll go to LNAV. So we should start turning left any moment now. Alright, we can turn off our landing lights. We'll just leave them on. I watched a YouTube video a while back, and when they're flying the US, I saw one pilot on Microsoft Flight Simulator. He said when you get below 18,000 feet, they usually turn on the landing lights and the seatbelt signs. So we'll, and for all intended purposes, we're actually not going that high anyway, so we'll just keep our aircraft all, including the reversers, we'll keep those on. No need to turn them off when it's just a short flight. As I was saying, we make things easier for ourselves, not harder, so we'll just keep it nice and simple. Alright, and we'll be travelling at, we'll go at 290 k's per hour knots. So we'll just peel back the speed. And we'll just cruise there, and we'll just clear this discontinuity here. Once it unfreezes itself. Come on, you can do it, don't freeze on me. Alright folks, we're back again. I actually had to reset the simulator. I had a few issues there, so that pause, if you notice anything that's changed, it's just because we had to reset the flight simulator, so we're now back up and running again. The joys of flight simulator in general, I mean, we had issues with 2020, we still have freezes and whatnot. It's just the joys of flight simulator in general, but we just work around it, and we deal to it with the best we can. But as I was saying, it's a pretty short flight, so we're going to get everything all set up for our So So still landing on runway 18 center, but we won't do this star, otherwise it's just going to make us do extra flying that we don't really need to do. We're just keeping all of this stuff on because it is just a short flight. At any moment now we should start turning. And it doesn't seem to be turning, there's something wrong, so we're just going to go. Oh, we are at our cruising altitude, so we're just going to peel that speed back. Right, we'll enter in our RLS frequency and our minimums. So we'll just get this all set up. So we'll go to our radio page and just confirm our RLS 11.3, and we'll do the same again with the other one. And we'll set our minimums, which is going to be 940 feet, so we'll come into MDA and we'll just scroll to get 940. Right, we're getting back on course. I'm actually just going to pause this, and I'm going to see where my actual right, just going to change my arrival settings. I'm going to change my parking to, I believe it's E7, or just type in 7. I'll go D7, I don't know what that one's going to be. I'm just going to go vectors, going to apply that. And we're going to start our descent. So lots happening very quickly. Right, we're going to go into vertical speed mode, and we'll go into our legs page, our direct init page, and we'll want to go we want to be 1900 feet per minute, I'm guessing. We're just going to disregard that. We're going to just stay with this heading. So we're just going to go heading mode for this. I think I might have messed up on I sort of messed up this FMS a little bit here, so we're just going to start our top of descent now. Alright, this is sort of messed up a little bit, so we're just going to do good old fashioned flying with just using that as a little guide, and we'll just set our minimum altitude, our final approach fix, which is going to be 2,400 feet. And this is a very, very quick flight, so we're pretty much hitting our ILS. I'm just going to pull the speed all the way back to 240. So we're getting pretty close to below 10,000 feet. And I've basically got everything all on and everything's all set for our landing. Okay, we're just going to follow these headings, we'll just see what they end up giving us. We're going to pull this nose up so we can bleed off all of the speed. And I'm going to select nav source to localizer. And this is going to be pretty interesting to see how this all turns out. I'm going to set my landing speeds. And for some reason the course hasn't been set, so I'm going to set 183. I'm just going to go into approach mode now. And that should put us onto our final approach, and we're just going to land it. We are going to be right up these other aircraft's bum, but that's alright, we're just going to land. You know what, let's follow let's follow what they want us to be vectored in for, okay? I wonder if this is trying to just slow me down for the aircraft, I've got no idea. Alright, let's see what this does, eh? Now we're given clearance for ILS, so we're just going to go right round in a circle. And we'll just activate approach. Right, that was interesting. We did follow the instructions there. I thought, why not do them? And I think that might have, I think FS HUD has a little bit of brains there in preventing us from getting right up those other aircraft's bums, so that gives us, we'll see how this all goes. We'll better pull back our speed all the way back to our minimum approach. Get that speed down to what they gave us was 100 and yeah, we'll go right down to our, basically we'll slow right down to our our approach speed, our final approach speed. And this is clouding in over, so this will make this approach quite interesting. Right, we're going to go to terrain mode. We're going to turn off our weather radar. We've got visual on our runway, so we're just going to disconnect the the auto throttle, keep that speed up a bit. Might get rid of that harder picket so I can see a little bit better. And we're just going to touch down.
50, 40, 30, 20, 10.
Oh, I think that was a heavy landing, but that will do. And we'll see what this default airport is like in Microsoft Flight Simulator, right? That'll be the next question. And we're going to use this exit point here. Flaps can come up. Raise those spoilers. We'll turn off the landing lights. And we'll fire up that APU. And we've made it, folks. We've done a few vectoring there, and it seems to have helped us with our landing. We're just cleaning up the aircraft now. Select FMS. We'll turn off our flight directors. We will, once we get on the straight bit of taxiway, we'll disengage we'll turn off our reverse thrust. And we're just speeding on down to our gate. Look at all those American airlines. This must be this airport definitely must be a major American Airlines hub. Right, I think our APU is kicked into life, so that's great. And I believe we're parking all the way around here. Actually, no, we're pulling it over here. this my gate here? Yep, this is my gate here. It's a bit confusing which one it is actually. I'm going to go for this one actually. We'll turn off our taxi light. Look at that tyre scraping across the tarmac there. Right, and that's our flight. That segment of our flight over, and I think that will do for today. I'm just going to put the parking brake on, shut down the engines. I find turning off these engines a bit fiddly actually. And we'll turn off the transponder, and we'll disarm the nose steering wheel. Beacon light can come off, the taxiway will engage, we'll turn off these warning signs, and we'll turn off the fuel pumps. And we'll come across here and we'll open up the doors and let the passengers come on out. And that's our flight finished, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming along the journey there, and I hope you had a nice flight. And we'll see you again next time.